Hello, everyone. How are you? Oh my gosh, it's been so long since I've done a live all by myself. I'm kind of nervous. If you're out there, drop me a hi. Let me know where you're chiming in from. And it's so good to see you. Let's hop into the comments and see who's joining us today. So we have yours truly by Rose. Hello, it's been a while. Good to see you. And Mona Cunningham, I'm great. How are you doing? Where are you calling? Where are you chiming in from? Hello, everyone. VJ. Oh my gosh, I remember you from the chat with Alicia. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us live. Samantha Stewart, hello, my dear. And doing good, waiting for my girls to dance and working on cross stitching. Now, isn't that the best part of being able to do something with our hands? Because we can take it just about everywhere we can, right? Okay, from St. Louis, it's good to see you. If you don't know already, I am in like Toronto. I'm in the Toronto area in Canada. So, and excuse me, like my voice is really wonky today. I have like either allergies or I don't know, kind of a phlegmy throat. Oh, I'm choking. Jojo! Oh my gosh. Has it been forever since you and I have been on a live at the same time? Thank you. Thank you for hopping on. We still need to do a live together. Wouldn't give it Jojo a shout out if it would be like super fun to have a live with Jojo. I think that would be super fun. So encourage her because she's shy. It's good to see you too. I've been watching your business playlist. Well, I'm glad this was a good one that you can add to the business playlist because today I've got a whole seminar and the chunky seminar part is only about 30 minutes, but just so you know, I am staying on live for the whole thing. So I'm answering questions on the side of the seminar and I'm also answering questions at the beginning and the end. So if you have any questions at all, and I don't want anyone to feel overwhelmed by the seminar only because I did prepare this seminar for a big presentation I did for crochet and hand makers. So I knew that some people had already started doing like done business. So they are familiar with like business stuff, but other people, if you're just getting started, just kind of keep it in mind, like as a future thing. Are you guys hearing me okay? I just want to make sure that you can hear me. You're finally here. Okay, stay as long as you can, my dear. Mona County from St. Louis, Mona. So that's it. And then, oh, look, Mona. Hello, Mona. Oh, everybody's saying hi to you, my dear. So it's good to see you. One day, my friend. So let's see. Oh, good. Loud and clear. Oh, hello, Sarah, little corner of Crochet World. I presume your name is Sarah, so I'm going to call you Sarah. So anyway, I'll tell you a little bit about the format of today's live because it's a little bit different than what we usually do. Sometimes we hop on, we say hi, and then we get into like a little bit of chit chat. But today I'm actually going to be airing a seminar I did on marketing strategies at all stages of wherever you are in your handmade business. If you want to go into handmade business, if not, and you're just joining me, then just watch along because the whole thing is going to be fun. You know, my lives aren't boring, right? So, hello in Pennsylvania, Angela. It's good to see you. I just wanted to make sure we drop in the comments and VJ. So, and some updates too, just so you know, if you would love to support the channel or if you're new here, I do have my membership open now too. So if you want to hit the join button and support me in another capacity, because maybe you don't want to start a business but you want to just keep learning until you're ready, no problem. Or maybe if you just want to follow along, I have an upcoming crochet along. I love crocheting. That is always going to be my first love, other than maybe singing. But I have a crochet along that's going to be happening, but it'll be member only because it'll be one of the perks. But I want to give everyone the heads up so you have the opportunity to join along if you would like to. So join in. It'll be all member levels because like it's just a lot of fun just to hop on and then chat while we're making. And then I'll guide you along in the pattern because it'll be one of my patterns. So hop on if you like. And I'm just going to make sure I say hi to everyone who's logging on. Hello, Angela B again. And yes. Now, if this is one of the first times that you're on my channel, I'll just tell you a little bit about me, or if you're watching this on the replay. Now, I'm a crocheter and I have a recent Addie express addiction. So now I also do that as well in terms of knitting. I can't like hand knit myself. And oh, look, David's here. I've been watching non-yarn entrepreneur videos all day. I've learned so much. Oh, yes. I love non-yarn entrepreneur videos. In fact, and I'll tell you a little bit about me because I am a crocheter from way back, but my background is actually not, I was not a entrepreneur forever. For those of you who watched my first video, my background, I was educated. I went to U of T for I have a degree in industrial relations and business, and it's from the Faculty of Economics. So I got my degree in, like, I loved, even in high school, I loved economics, but I was always like a creative person at the same time. And then I also got a diploma from Sheridan College, and for those in Canada, they're usually known for their arts, but I also have a diploma from there as well. And then I started off in the finance and communication industry. So I worked for like Rogers, AT&T, and cell phone companies, mostly in marketing. And then I worked in for the financial district. I worked for one of the big banks, CIBC. And where else did I work? I also worked for airlines, and then I took the leap and I switched over to public sector, and I worked in corporate human resources for about 15 years. So I worked for like Kraft Canada, and then like the food company, actually at their cookie plant, which was amazing, in the HR department. And I also worked in the, like I said, public sector. So I worked like in education. I'm married to an educator. My husband's a teacher, and my family, they're all like educators. Like dad was a teacher. I have relatives that are teachers. And so anyway, my background's in education, but I did a lot of the hiring, the corporate hiring, and all that sort of thing. And then it was there that, like, I never stopped crocheting, but that's when my business kind of took off. Because like a lot of you, I kind of started as a hobby businesser, like business entrepreneur. Like I have a knack for being able to use the computer pretty well, like human resource. I mean, like I also like information systems, because I used to do like list management and that sort of thing for databases. And then I thought, you know what, like when Etsy came along, I thought I could do this. Like, how hard is it? Like my dad used to be a software engineer for like an aerospace company, but then he always taught me to know at least enough about computers. So I was thought, well, I know enough about computers to be able to like start this Etsy thing. And that was like decades ago, when like Etsy was just getting started. And so that's when I just kind of first started selling my hats. It was like way back in like 2013. So I went from like gifting them and selling them to friends and family to like moving it on to Etsy. And like when Facebook was still new, I would post my pictures of my hats, and it didn't cost a thing to like, it cost like, it was so cheap to boost like images back then. So I would boost stuff, and back then, like if you boosted it for $1, like it would, thousands of people would see it because it was barely any competition, right? But that's kind of like how I got started. And I think maybe I got started at a very good time, because excuse me, not a lot of artisans and that sort of thing were maybe on like social media and thing, but I just like, I was just using the skills. And then that's when I kind of got noticed by like producers and that sort of thing. And I was invited to Hollywood to gift my luxury, they considered it like luxury hats. I was like, oh yes, they're luxury. So I was asked to bring my luxury hats to Hollywood, and then the whole story just kind of takes off from there. So since then, like I know if you watched my first video, you probably saw that I had my hats here. I'll share some. When I was on the recent live with Alicia, she was like, oh, show some of your celebrities. So I have a little show thing I'll show you, because I never had my slides ready. But anyway, there's Anthony Anderson. If you don't know who he is, he's on like an ABC show. Now, mind you, I'm Canadian, so some shows I don't have access to, but these are the ones I recognize. So Anthony Anderson, he's on Blackish, and he's also a comedian. You probably might know that. Then Candace Cameron, I used to watch her on Full House like all the time. When I met her, it was like, woo, very cool. And now they've like revamped their show. And then Chrissy Metz, she's on a show called like This Is Us, I think it is. So yes. And she was like super, super sweet. She's like lovely, lovely, love her. And then I met this guy too. Daniel Franze, got him a hat. He didn't take a picture of it, but that's me and my assistant there. And he he's on a show, but you know where I remember him from is Mean Girls, because I love that movie, the original, with like, I know Lindsay Lohan, she was much younger at the time. There's Gina Rodriguez. This picture's really small, but I bet I met both Gina Rodriguez and Justin Baldoni at an event, and you'll see her here. Like she ended up picking one of my hats, and this was the hat that she chose. She won a Golden Globe that year. And Jason Ritter, I took this picture with him when he was in Falls. Oh, what's the name of that cartoon? Gravity Falls. It's such a good cartoon. If you watch it on like on whatever, I think it's on Netflix. Gravity Falls, such a good cartoon. Anyway, I used to follow his dad, who used to be on Three's Company back like in the 70s and 80s. Loved his dad anyway. And oh, there's me and Whoopi Goldberg. So you guys probably know her. She's in and out of trouble, but she's a hoot. So I absolutely died when I met her that time. Oh, here, I met Lennox Lewis once too. There's him in my hat. It was so that was really cool because he fought for Canada once in the Olympics, which, and I never forgot that back in like the 90s when he fought for the Olympics. And but he's British actually, I think. So luckily he wears my stuff too. Melissa Pitterman, she's on a show called Baby Daddy, I think. Or she was on a show, but she's good friends with like Reba McEntire and all that sort of thing. This guy used to be on Gilmore Girls. Who used to watch Gilmore Girls? It's like cult classic, right? So if you're Canadian, you probably know her because she's like Michelle Romanow. She's like, I met her at a dinner actually. And I told you one of my marketing strategies before when I was first getting started, I always brought my hats in a handbag wherever I went, whether I was like going to a staff party, still working for the school board or wherever, because you never knew who you were going to run into. And I had this like streak of luck running into these very famous people. So anyway, she's on Dragon's Den in Canada. So she's one of the dragons. It's the same as like Shark Tank. So she's a huge like capital venture person, but she also she owns a bank. It's called Clear Bank. So she's a venture capitalist anyway. Oh, this is Alan Cumming. He has a few of my hats and he wears them around. And anyway, he took this picture and I saw it on his social media. So he tagged me, and when he was in New York wearing one of my fundamental hats. And Selena Leva, she plays the mom she was in Orange is the New Black. She was in Orange is the New Black, and I think she plays a mom in like the Spider-Man series or something like that. And then of course Viola Davis. My gosh, she was so nice. Her and her husband. Oh wait, where's her husband? Oh, I don't have the picture of her husband, and myself. I think it's on my like social media or something like that. But anyway, that's my hat. And she wore it to the Sundance Film Festival, and she did a speech in it too. So it was like, what? Anyway, yay. That was like, whoa. And then there's Whoopi wearing one of my hats. And then I heard that she kept wearing it afterwards. Oh my gosh, there's so many more pictures, and I really don't want to bore you. There's Candace Cameron, like picking her hat. And this girl is from The Social. If you watch Canadian television, she's the host. So I met her at a dinner, like a fashion dinner. And then this guy was in 12 Years a Slave. That was kind of neat. And then Maisie Williams, holy cow. She from like Game of Thrones. That was, honestly, I didn't watch Game of Thrones until after I met her. And my friend was like, you have to give her one of your hats because she's like famous. I'm like, oh my gosh, incredible. So her and I like hung out at a little thing. And then there's RuPaul and I, and then Selena Leva again. I don't know if you know Titus Burgess, but I used to love this show called The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. He was my favorite character. And then I met him, and it was like so lucky. He is hilarious in person. Travis Wall. I watched what's this one show? Dance. It was a something dance. So You Think You Can Dance. Yes. So You Think You Can Dance. And he either won or he was one of the finalists. And now he's like a choreographer. But I don't know. When I met him, he was just with his husband. He's so very chill, very, very fun. That was one of the funnest like things that had ever happened to me. People around me didn't even recognize him because I don't know, maybe people don't watch choreography. I bet you Cherie from Yours Truly Rose, she probably knows them because if her kids are in dance, they know them. So there is the picture of Viola Davis and I with her husband. And then there's Yara Shahidi. I met her a few times. Here she's much younger, but then here she picks up another hat. So like she has a few of my hats, and also her another star in the show. Oh, the boy. Oh my gosh, my daughter was gonna murder me because she loves the bigger brother in the show Blackish. I wish I remember Marcus Schreiber. I don't have him in this lineup, but he has a few of my hats, and then a while back he tagged me in from LA wearing them too. So I just wanted to share with you, like, kind of like let me that like anything can happen in your life. I went from like school board human resources to this. Like, yeah. And the funny thing was I didn't even quit my job when this started happening because I'm like, okay, like I went to the Golden Globes. I used my vacation time to book off to do the events. And then I'd go back to work and just not mention anybody until it kind of blew up in Canada. Like I had been published on the front page of the Toronto Star fashion section, and one of the secretaries was like, Karen, you do this? And I was like, yeah. Way to let your employer know that you're kind of like running a business, right? So cat out of the bag, right? Yeah, I crochet on the side. So anything can happen. But anyway, what I did was I just kind of put to work everything that I knew from my business background, from getting to know different like roles in a business, and my knowledge of crochet, and that you'll never know what everything can kind of roll up and bring you to next. So that's why, like, don't ever, friends, I know it might seem like I'm a dreamer, but don't give up on your dreams, because like dreams come true. You just got to take the next step. So anyway, I'm here because I want to give you guys all the tools that you possibly can to take any next step that you might be in your business, or even if you haven't started yet, just keep an open mind. Like, don't get overwhelmed by this presentation that I'm going to show you. It's marketing strategies for every stage of business, whether you're at startup or whether you're at like, you're already kind of plugging away. Maybe you got a blog and you're selling already. Take everything into consideration, see what works for you. And then at the end, I can also help you out if you have any questions. So while we're going along, if you have pictures, I mean, not pictures, if you have questions, put it in the comments with a question mark in front. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually staying on during the presentation, and I'm going to watch the chat, answer questions as we go, and then answer your questions personally after the chat, because the presentation's only about 20 minutes. And then we'll hop on and talk more about any other questions that you have. But also don't forget, if this goes by too fast, it's too much, then feel free to always just log on or become a member on my channel, because I would love to have you and make sure that you never miss any information in the future. Before I hop on to the presentation, I'm going to just see if I didn't miss anything. Oh, look, Melanie, one of my students is here. Hi, my dear. And then David, a high profile opera singer, has posted pics of her wearing a crochet t-shirt. I sent her. I still squee when I think, isn't that the most, and it's a weird and crazy, amazing feeling. In a way, it makes you feel like, oh my God, you're a little bit of famous out there. And then at the same time, there's like, you can't let the fear and imposter syndrome feeling creep in, because like I mentioned before, like I remember when I was first getting started, I'd go to these like Hollywood events, and when even famous people would be like, oh my gosh, I love these and all that stuff, I would think, oh my gosh, they're saying that just to be nice, because I'm here with my handmade things and I feel like so quirky and weird. But don't put yourself down that way, okay? You believe in yourself and you get any kind of support that you can. That's what I'm here for. I'm giving like free advice to whoever wants to have it, okay? So hello, Maribel. Okay, we are about to start the presentation. Remember, put your comments in the side, ask as you go along, and then I'm going to be in the comments as well, live, as well as answering questions afterwards. And do I have any other announcements before we hop into it? Who's ready? Who's ready? I think we're all ready. Let's get started, okay? Here we go. Enjoy, folks. Stay on for the very end. Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Karen Viloria-Miguel, owner and founder of Canada Bliss, handmade crochet hats and accessories. And in this presentation, I'll be discussing harnessing the power of marketing and promoting efforts in your business at different stages of your business. Then I'll speak specifically about some examples. This is great for handmade sellers and product sellers alike. So let's get started. Now, why care about marketing in your business? Marketing is an activity that requires resources that are scarce when we're starting and growing our own business. Now, it'll cost you in dollars for services or tools that you'll need, or it'll cost you in time for your investment of time for promotion. In any business, big or small, you're looking at trying to be as profitable and efficient as possible with all of your choices in your business, because any imprudent choices could lead to a loss of monetary resources. And if you run out of monetary resources, unfortunately, you also run out of your business. So then there's no avenue for creating your creative endeavors, and then you'll have nothing to run. So I'm here to keep you creative and make wise promotion and marketing decisions so you have a nice, strong business. In my presentation, I am going to touch on different stages of business and where you might be. So if you spot where you might be in these different stages, then fill it in on the chat and let me know where you fall into some of these areas. So one of the first stages is startup, and we'll be covering that as well as growth and success and expansion. So remember, drop in the chat when you know what area that you fall in. So in the beginning, I'm going to be starting with startup. So I'll talk about a little bit of the characteristics of a startup handmade business, and then also some of the marketing efforts that you want to be focusing on. For startup handmakers, you are primarily testing your startup idea and what you want to make. This may feel like the longest and toughest part of the stages, but it is one of the most fun. You feel invigorated, you're excited about your product. And at this stage as a handmaker, you're trying things out as a business and determining if the ideas that you were thinking about selling for a product are going to fly. Your designs, your styles, the niche that you want to appeal to, your concept, you got to see if it's a good one, or at least you've got to develop a solid one so that you know where to focus your efforts. At the same time, what you're doing is testing out products so you know what to stick with, seeing which one generates interest. You're tweaking your designs and images, gathering feedback, changing, reiterating products and patterns. And at this stage, you're also quickly adjusting to any changes and responses that your customers are telling you about your product. The marketing efforts where you're going to be focusing at this startup phase is, well, since it's at this phase, you're trying out different products, you should be focusing your funds on narrowing down your niche by researching and testing. Researching can be maximized by tracking your results. So using your analytics on things like whether or not your posts are getting likes, or where the reach is and what areas and geographic areas they're appealing to, the types of customers, the demographic age of your customers. So pay close attention to these things. From there, you'll want to be creating character profiles for your ideal clients. So then you have an understanding of where to really target your marketing efforts. And what do you think they will like in the future? What do you think they don't like? And what should you remove from your product offering? Make notes of all of these things and how you will try to make your products appeal to your ideal customers. Research your SEO keywords, improve them so then you narrow down your target, and then you can use these SEO keywords for things like Pinterest posts, product listings, press releases, and SEO tags. Every new product you make and put out there is part of a marketing effort now. So every new item is a sample. Treat it like a sample. You want to spend your funds on supplies on your samples. And to lower your costs, you can even make those samples by yourself instead of hiring someone at this point. You can save money by making your own patterns, maybe doing the samples of the crochet items yourself or knit items. And since you want to test your product out, try testing the images out on social media to your ideal customers. Follow the types of customers that you hope to sell to and see if those types of customers respond to your posts. You may want to invest on tools for efficiency, like social media postings tools, so you can post your creations, gather analytics and engagement. Social media tools like Later or Tailwind or looking at your demographics for Instagram. Target spending time engaging with customers of similar niches, and the more specific, the better. So if a product bombs, it doesn't do that well, then you can at least quickly isolate that group or that product that didn't work and move on to a different group of product. And test through engage back with your followers at different levels, not just liking and commenting back to them, but getting right in there and DMing people for feedback, starting conversations with them. Use polls and stories and stickers to gather more information, and DM people who like an image, start conversations. So treat every event and every moment as an opportunity to drive sales. When you're going out for dinner or promotional event, bring product with you. Be ready to talk about your product. Test your product at in-person trunk shows with families and friends. Get their feedback, make notes. Be cautious though with friends and family, because sometimes their feedback may not be in line, or maybe they may not even be in that niche. But so please be careful not to get discouraged when it comes to like friend and family feedback. But do treat live events like research as well as an opportunity to get sales and feedback from people who are browsing or real customers. From the get-go, get people's email addresses at shows by offering them maybe a small discount if they sign up. Or if they say to you that they're going to check you out online, then make sure you get them to sign up for your email so you can tell them that you have a special coming up. And make sure that in any in-person shows, if the organizers are offering things like competitions, or they're doing fashion shows, that you take part in them and that you show off your brand tags and your booth numbers so you can be part of all of these initiatives and get your brand name out. You may also be wondering at this point, do you take part in freebies and giveaways and charity donations? The answer comes basically like this. There is no solid yes or no answers, but remember, marketing is ultimately to gain brand recognition that will ultimately lead you to sales and will lead you to a point where you're profitable. Sure, there's a period of time in your business where you won't be as profitable when you're getting your equipment, tools, and supplies that you need to run your business together. But ultimately, with every opportunity, you must be thinking, how can I create brand recognition? And then how can I convert this into sales? Think about a way that whoever you're going to be exposed to has a path to be able to find you and purchase something from you, hopefully. The best way to get in front of your niche, and the most important way, is through email. How can you get in front of people through email? Not just social media, through email. You must always be trying to get people's emails so you can communicate with them afterwards, whether they be customers, press inquiries, everyone showing interest. So for example, if someone wants you to be part of a charity or a giveaway, ask that if there's a ballot involved, that the ballot email be shared with you, or that if they're asking you to influence for you or run a contest, that you make your contest ballot an opt-in so that you are able to gather emails for those people. If it's a follow this account and follow that account sort of social media collaboration, make sure on your account that you have an opt-in for something that maybe your target audience would really be interested in. And in your bio, make sure that you point to the link so that when they follow you, hopefully they'll also opt in. It's even better if you make it part of the giveaway that they opt into your lead. So try and create every opportunity to collaborate and get the customer driving towards a sale. And it's not just getting people to like your social media, like I mentioned, it's also converting them into one of your captivated audiences in your email list. Share with me some ideas in the comments as well for these startup ideas of if you've tried some of these, or if you find some interesting, or some of the things that you've tried. Now let's move on. Now, once we've gotten past the startup phase and are at the growth phase, here at the growth phase, you're building your business and growing it by earning recurring revenue. You're getting your name out there more and more. And this is also the time to solidify your business plan and continue to build loyalty with your existing audience and broaden your customer reach. You have a solid idea of your price points now. And I'll also be providing a price point calculator at the end of this if you are interested or haven't downloaded it yet from my YouTube channel. And if you're building up your services and tools, you'll need the support and the business functions that work for you. So here in the growth phase of your marketing efforts, you will want to be focusing on activities that expand and widen your ideal client base. You want to grow your niche and build your market share. It's not necessarily time to branch out into entirely new products just yet. For efficiency's sake, you want to get economies of scale for your supplies that you're already buying. So market new designs to the same or similar niche so you can continue to speaking to that same audience and focusing your efforts there, like focusing on writing press releases for new products, releasing them to publications that your niche reads, create reasons for there to be a buzz about your brand. Expand outreach on your social media, not just end users, but building relationships with retailers and boutiques if you've decided to go into wholesale. Also, if you're now in wholesale or your online sales are picking up, you want to solidify your packaging and your marketing so that it's through marketing materials in your packaging that continue to build your brand. You want to be pitching different media for press mentions and gift guides, as well as pitching retail distributors to carry your product. Like I mentioned, increasing your reach. And from my experience, the more you get distributed to more stores and boutiques and more areas, the more you'll get more people buying from your online in those areas as well, because I am telling you, the package and your tags are part of the marketing effort. So as you gain social media traction, consider collaborating with other makers and businesses, personalities, and talents to build expansion of your audience and theirs, and double down on 2 or maybe 3 media outlets. Where your social media outlets, where your audience is, and don't spread yourself too thin. Typically for crochet and knit, everybody wants to have a very robust social media platform that is image robust, like Facebook or Instagram. So those are natural platforms that you might want to focus on, or Pinterest. You also want to have like a long form social media outlet if possible. I like YouTube, and I'm bringing up my blog a little bit more, but a lot of people use their blog to gain customers as well and to get to know you at a more in-depth level. It's also nice for ad revenue as a little bit of a perk to help increase your total income. And platforms that drive traffic to your long form outlets include like Pinterest and TikTok as well, because you can write a little bit more, and those platforms allow you to point to other platforms without kind of being penalized in the algorithm. And also Twitter is a more instantaneous way of marketing as well. But though, like, just consider that feeds go by very quickly in Twitter. So, and TikTok is also, like I mentioned, a very fast growing platform that is now going to be integrating with Shopify a lot more. So if you're thinking about a Shopify platform, you might want to consider that as well. So in the Power Pack, I have over 100 content ideas that you can use to create content for your platform. So share with me in the comments or the chat if you have more clever ways that you've incorporated your social media into this stage of your business for growing it. Like I mentioned, at every stage, you are also trying to maximize your efforts wherever you go. I remember there was a time where I used to carry a hat in my handbag everywhere I went. Dinner parties, social functions, family gatherings, just in case I would run into somebody that I could collaborate with or gift and get into like an image in the hat. So just never lose an opportunity to market your product. Now let's move on to our next stage, success and expansion. At this stage, you have a pretty solid idea about your niche, the products that appeal to your audience, and how to communicate with them. You're achieving pretty consistent revenue, weathering some ups and downs, and you'll be continuing to service your client and maybe expand your product offerings to complementary products as well. At this point in your marketing, if you sell a pattern or product, you may want to sell other kinds of items too, maybe branch out into other expanded complementary products like courses, classes, consulting, hobby, business activities, tools, other merchandise, other lines of business. However, if you're planning on expanding out, think about your resources, who your suppliers can be. If you can maximize or double down on the resources that you're already using, this will reduce your cost in terms of shipping, and you can achieve economies of scale. You may have already developed relationships with some of your suppliers so that you can get terms and you can pay them over 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. You may be even able to consolidate your invoices, and it'd be a lot easier for your bookkeeper too. So consider your sources at this place too, at this stage of your business too. Now, influencer and brand deals, these might pop up at any of these stages in your business. So how do you handle these? Well, it says here, just as likely in the expansion phase as in the startup or growth phase that you might encounter offers. And my advice here to you is it's almost better off to pitch your idea to brands instead of being approached by them, because in pitching, you know that you are going to be able to maximize the activities that you're already doing in your business with what you want to do for the business that you're pitching to. That's not saying that offers that come to you aren't bad ideas, but anytime that you're doing any sort of brand deals, you want to do activities that are already in line with what you're doing. So for example, if you're a pattern maker, pitching to magazines your patterns, and product sellers, pitching magazines for gift guides for product that you already have on hand. If you didn't pitch to them, they might be asking for custom items. If they pitch to you, they might be asking for you to do things that you're not ready to make. The ones that come to you may not be in line with keeping your business efficient. It may take more time away from your business to accommodate promoting their brand than generating sales and getting orders out the door for your business. So you don't necessarily have to accept everything that's offered. You need to calculate the opportunity cost of taking on deals. So what's opportunity cost? It's the benefit or loss if you choose a certain option. Like, what are you losing out on if you choose a certain option? If the income is better than what you would pay yourself or your crocheters for the amount of work that you would spend otherwise doing other work for your business, then you may want to consider it. However, also remember that if you're a one-man show, you also lose momentum time while doing activities focused on other businesses. You lose time and effort, which is labor and intellectual capital. And that is honestly the most important resource you want to not take away from your own business. But if the activity for the other business benefits you as well, for example, if you're looking for content on your YouTube channel, blog, or social media platform, and the brand fits and the work that you're doing helps build your content as well as helps promote them, then maybe it's worth it. Now, how do you manage this? Don't be scared to counter any new offers by constructing the ideal benefit to your business and generate sales or revenue for your business as well. Otherwise, it may not be worth your while. For example, it might be worth it if you already use the type of yarn that they're offering to you for free, or even better, if they offer you free product plus compensation, then you may want to consider it. You have to earn the money to pay yourself to spend on that money on that resource anyway. You would have to earn that money to pay yourself to spend on that resource anyway. So getting free product for something you use totally makes sense. So by accepting the product, you can get content on your platform and write off any expenses you use to promote that brand or do the work involved when you were promoting that particular item. So check with your accountant in your geographic area how to do this and make it tax deductible as well. Now, it may not be worth it if the deal involves making content for their site and you cannot point any of the traffic back to your site. I had a client once who was building her YouTube channel, then was approached by another channel to make a video, and they were offering her, I think, maybe $120. It was $120 for the video. And she was super excited and she decided to bounce the idea off of me. But I laid it out to her, like, if you spent 2 hours shooting a video, 3 to 5 hours editing, and honestly, it's probably even longer than that, especially if you're doing the optimizations too, then in the end of it, your $120 that you earned ends up being like $15 to $17 an hour. And getting that per hour and then zero traction for your business, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So I kind of laid that out to her. It wasn't something that I would accept because it didn't, she probably could be spending her time more productively in her own business. So please take those kind of factors into consideration. Now, you might also be wondering, what about TV and celebrity marketing? And I could tell you honestly, like it can pay off like hand over fist if you know how to maximize the exposure from having participated in these events. But it's not guaranteed. That's the thing. Like it's not guaranteed that it's automatically going to generate sales or recognition, or people will see it or even care, even if they do see it on somebody who they recognize. So when it comes to celebrity and TV marketing, typically there are things like it can become a complex area because perhaps you're making custom items for a TV show, or you've been asked to attend a luxury lounge for an award show, or maybe you've been asked to put your items in a celebrity showroom. There's costs associated with this because you're not getting sales on the actual physical product unless somebody sees it. And then from being seen, which takes time for the production to happen, you have to somehow use that information and then convert it to sales. So it's a long process, but it could pay off. Now, just keep in mind the opportunity costs, like I mentioned before, and also the costs associated with having spent your time and materials on something that may or may not generate sales in the future. If you can afford that in your business, then it might be worth it for you. It's kind of like, you never know. It could pay off huge or it may not. Okay. So just keep that in mind. But typically when you're doing celebrity collaborations, sometimes you have to cover the cost of materials for shipping that the sample over to them. They may keep the sample. You might be able to structure it so that they pay for the sample. If you are gifting, sometimes you have to pay for your own travel. Sometimes you have to pay for the cost of all of the gifts. Often, however, like, do you even get any pictures out of it? Can you reuse those pictures? What are the terms if they provide you the pictures? You have to make sure that you read through all of that information if you are going to participate in any of these events, because there are often clauses in contracts, and there's like non-disclosure agreements in there as well on what you can say and not say about these contracts. So just keeping that in mind again. And there is so much glory in being on television and in movies and having your product shown. Sometimes they can't even show the label of who made it. So sometimes it doesn't work out. But anyway, my biggest advice for you is if you decide to take the leap into movies and TV, celebrity style showrooms, or try to structure a deal where you get paid for an item, try to promote it in a way that you can capitalize on the exposure. Plan a way that once you have images that you'll be able to use it for traction to generate sales, and then build more momentum and recognition with those pieces of social media. And if at all, try and have your opt-ins ready for people who are interested in your product, and your website ready to sell that item immediately. So then it doesn't take more than a few clicks for your customer to go ahead and purchase your item. So remember, do the math and maintain good relationships no matter what. If a company pitches you and you decide to turn them down because you don't accept all of them, you really don't, then at least leave the door open so there'd be other collaborations. Since they are willing to work with you, they are more likely to be open to ideas if you come back to them with an idea that does work for you. So be prepared to offer that. So friends, marketing your business does take practice, but the more you do it, the more you'll get used to spotting opportunities that really work for you. If you're going to market, you might as well do it efficiently and strategically. Don't just throw spaghetti off the wall, hoping that it'll stick. Try to create opportunities that create sales. If you'd like to dive deeper and get step-by-step systems on how to build your business and a strategic system for your handmade crochet business, schedule a free call with me and we'll discuss where you are with your crochet business. If I can help you with a few tips right then and there, I'd love to. Generally, students who enroll have already tried selling to friends and family, may have gotten started already on selling on Etsy, Ravelry, Facebook, on their website. Are familiar with social media and want to get that converting into sales. And some have even been in business for a while and then want to explore areas of opportunity to create more sales and automate their efforts or their business to the next level.
Oh, Hello. Okay. Oops. Hold on.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, okay. Oh, hey. I'm back. Okay, so guys, I know that when I originally it was I had done this workshop with other people before, and one of the feedbacks was that, oh my gosh, Karen, it's like trying to take a sip from a fire hose. So I don't want you guys to get like overwhelmed or anything, but I hope that if you guys got any nuggets that you found interesting or you still have questions, please go ahead and drop it in the comments. I'm going to pick up some of the questions that I saw in the comments that I don't want to go to the wayside. And so we're going to, I'll answer those right now. So the first one I believe was from Cherie from yours truly by Rose, and she asked how often is a good amount to send newsletters. Now, if you already have your business going, it really depends on what like trial and error always works the best in terms of finding how frequently your audience likes to be communicated with without getting a high percentage of unsubscribes. Now I would say at very least weekly or bi-weekly is a good idea. And you can also get ideas in terms of how you can communicate where you also have to keep in mind, don't always be communicating the same thing. Like provide updates, provide things that are like communicate when it's things of value that you can give to your audience. So bombarding their inbox sometimes might be counterproductive because you might end up with a high up subscribe rate of people who probably would have benefited from other types of information that you plan on sharing in the future. So just gauge whether like bi-weekly is almost that's the very minimum that you want to do. Weekly is probably pretty good, but again, and sometimes that might even pick up when traffic on communication increases, like around Christmas time, Black Friday, fall, back to school. There's so much communication happening in people's inboxes. You almost have to make sure that you are present and like top of mind. But like July and August, when people are on vacation, not really checking their email, maybe that's when you kind of scale it back to like bi-weekly or something that is more suitable for like the period that you're marketing in. And also it depends too on what type of niche you've decided to go in. If it's bikini wear, you're probably really ramping up in the spring and sending regular emails, getting like warming up your audience, keeping your audience warm and interested with things that you're making, new items that you're making. So keep that in mind when you've actually built your list and decided to start communicating with them. Okay, now someone asked, should you start on Etsy or Shopify? Okay, let's see. Wait, let me just see the comments. I don't want to miss anyone. Let's see here. Wow, that was a lot of information. Gonna replay because that was a thank you. Yes, I'm so glad that I finally put this workshop out there because it is a lot and it was only really seen once and it was a ton of information. So I'm glad that you guys can access it again and again and again. If you want a good way to put it to use, you know that I also do free consultations. So feel free to book a call with me too if you want like clarification on any sort of things. Gloria, hello, my dear. Good evening. Good evening to you too. Okay, back to some of the questions that were in the feed during the workshop. Should you start on Etsy or should you start on Shopify? Okay, I did both. I started on Etsy and then I migrated over to Shopify when like the functionality of Etsy and frankly like Etsy hasn't made it that easy for people to have a lot of freedom on, and it's actually gotten a little bit more constricting. That's why I'm so glad I got off Etsy when I did, but I still keep a small boutique open on Etsy because a lot of the thing is, this is where I'm always going to go with this, but if you haven't seen my defining your niche workshop, you absolutely have to go watch it. I've put a link for it in the description for this video, and I think I put it in the chat too. One of the most important things is that you establish your niche. So whether or not you start on Etsy or Shopify, you should have an idea of the direction that you're going with the type of customer that you're trying to target so that all of your business decisions and design decisions cost decisions are focused. Like, yeah, like for example, Josie, you also mentioned to should you focus on, should you charge more for natural fibers or I think non-natural fibers? That again, that really depends on whether or not you've established what you're making and who you're making it for, and then who you're making it for if your price point falls in your demographic group that you're targeting for your audience. Like, for example, should you charge more for natural fibers? That also, it's kind of like a two-edged question too, because natural fibers, some of them can cost more than synthetic fibers. So you also have to make sure that when you're doing your pricing, that you are covering your costs as well as your margins, that are the markup that you add to the product. And then, does this also make sense what you end up with the end price for your target audience? Now, if you need help with that, again, book a consultation. But that's basically, if you ask my students, they'll tell you that's always what we are like hammering back to and going back to. So just make sure that, like, yeah, you have to cover your costs, but you also have to cover if your target audience can kind of, if they're in that realm of pricing for whatever it is that you're making. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't be. And also, there's also something called goodwill. And it has a lot to do with the positioning of your product too. Positioning is how your target audience perceives your product. So if you've positioned it in a way, like, I mean, for example, let me see. I went to Saks the other day and I saw a acrylic pom-pom hat for like selling for $130. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is acrylic. And you and I both know, like, it's less expensive than if you were to have made this with like mohair or like merino or I don't know, something more high end like alpaca or whatever. But because it was made by Burberry, they have the goodwill, the positioning in the market that it's perceived that it's okay that they charge $130 for an acrylic hat. So you never know. It depends on where you can establish yourself in your niche. And the first thing is defining that. So let me help you with that if you ever get a chance or want to know how to do that. And okay, I'll just double check the comments here. Yes, link the chat. I have it saved. I like this format. Karen, you're able to see people react without losing your train of thought. Oh, yes. Thank you. Yeah. And so I appreciate that. So you know what? Maybe the next workshop I do, I'll and I can keep track of the questions too. So I love that I haven't lost track of any questions yet. But if I did, drop it again with a question mark in front. Okay. Now, Melanie, you were saying that, let's see here, contact. Oh, you were saying, she mentioned something, because I've had my hats too on newscasters. And she said, oh, there's a newscaster who I'd love to get my hat on. If you are like, if that's what something you're aspiring towards in terms of like getting your hat on to like a newscaster, contact the network. It's probably one of the best ways also to get local exposure and find out who the production coordinator is for wardrobe. Also, you can also find out if there's another way to get onto like newscasters or public figures that do broadcast in your local area. If you find out stylists who style for the newscasters, you can get your items onto them. Also, another way to get your items on like newscasters and like public figures in your area is also to find out which showrooms they visit. I did mention this in the video, but having your items in showrooms can also help too. Working in showrooms is a little bit different. Like, this gets a little bit more complex, but I'll give you a tidbit of it. Sometimes showrooms cost money to show your line in, but if that's the route you're going, if there's any like fashion designers, you probably know this out there. But if you get your item in a showroom, then the way it works is your item is shown. Sometimes, like in Toronto, like if I were to put my items in a downtown Toronto showroom, sometimes they'll be shooting a movie there, or there'll be an award ceremony, and somebody like a celebrity or well-known figure will be looking to be styled. Guys, they don't always own the stuff you see them wearing on the red carpet, just so you know. Okay, a lot of them do do showroom polls. So basically, their stylist and them will go to a showroom, pull items that they're going to wear for that evening, and then they'll credit the designer for what they're wearing. So a lot of people that you see on runways or red carpets and that sort of thing, when they say their gown is like whatever, or like their jewels are from Harry Winston, they pulled those from showrooms and they give them back. So they don't necessarily own them, or sometimes designers will gift these things to people. So that's how. Now for me, I got to know one of the reporters who visited me during like a story she was writing, and I gifted her and the camera dude a hat. And then she ended it, and she was like, I really love your hats, can I get one for my daughter? And so I actually established a customer from the experience too. And then I gifted her another hat, which she wore during a news thing. And then my friends were like, oh, I taped it for you because I saw the Zoraida wearing your hat. So thank you, Zoraida. If you ever watch this feed, thank you for wearing my hat during that fire news thing. So it's figuring out your niche. Honestly, book a call with me. The niche is the thing that sometimes is the hardest thing to figure out. Let's see here, Sylvia. Must be virgin acrylic. LOL. Virgin acrylic. It's that the most virgin acrylic would be like the oil form. Right. Anyhow, that's like a I don't know, so a synthetic joke. Anyhow, let's get back to the comment questions. Let's see. Comment. Oh, Sylvia, I wanted to mention that is a great mentality. Now money and future money. Getting involved in promotions that create future money, like collaborations, working with a studio to develop, costumes for people in shows, doing giveaways or prizes, raffles for donations, and that sort of thing. That's future money. Consider when you do promotional type things that you combine now money. So yes, things where like you're making orders, you're generating revenue on each sale, but also investing into, okay, but I'll also do a giveaway promotion for this Valentine's Day special. Maybe or maybe not, it will get me sales, but it's like a future investment you get out there to beget more frequency of your brand. Okay. So, and one of the like psychologies of marketing is that frequency begets liking and likeness begets liking. So if you get your items on people that are similar to the people that you're trying to sell to, or if you get your items out frequently enough that people start seeing it more often, then your sales tend to pick up. Like I remember I did a show in Toronto, and I sold an awful lot of hats, and then people would start seeing them on the subway line. Like, oh, I saw someone on the subway wearing your hat, because a lot of people who were buying were corporate people. They were going to like the business buildings downtown. And then like organically that generates sales when you see it more frequently. So that's how like the whole promotional part of things work. And let's see. Oh, good. I hope you go ahead and book a call, because it's so much like it takes away a lot more questions when you kind of get the answer directly to your question. That's why I don't necessarily throw people. Oh, look at that. Sylvia, hit the like button to show Karen some love. Thank you. Yes, please hit the like button. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sylvia. And then Josie, natural fibers. I think I answered your question on natural fibers. So that'll go back to niche, and it'll go back to pricing too. So we'd want to make sure that you sourced efficiently enough that you were in a good price point. And then from there, if you've established your niche, we'd see if it fits in to what your niche would be willing to pay for that type of thing that you make. So yes, it all kind of makes sense once you get the ball rolling and you kind of get out of the way what order to do stuff. Okay. So don't feel overwhelmed. Just if you're not sure, give it a try. So Melody here says analysis paralysis is almost worse than yarn barf. Yes, that is so true. I had to deal with a big yarn barf middle pole recently, and oh my gosh, I hate doing this. You've given. I don't ever want to give up, but you know you've given up when you break the yarn so that you can like just unravel it and then you tie it back together again. But oh, I hate, like, it's like giving up like the ball one. um Let's see here. I have a fitness business and I need tips on marketing. Actually, Jordan, book a call. I used to help I help fitness businesses too. I'm actually before I started into helping hand makers, I was consulting a martial arts business where they also did like kickboxing. And if you don't know, I'm also a black belt in in Taekwondo. That's why, like, you use your whole network to promote, right? So in the summertime, it just so happened that the Olympics who represented Canada for Taekwondo this year is a very good friend of mine. So that's how we established her Olympic campaign. I was able to do hats for the Pan Am Games when they were in Toronto. But I mean, you use your entire network, and fitness is one of the most exciting ways to market. I love it. I did artistic direction for this fitness facility because they also ran a before and after school program for kids. So we did photo shoots with children and we did like their videos, and it was so much fun. I love working with fitness stores. I mean, fitness industry and gyms, and also fitness industries. Like, I know they were kind of I know that they were kind of hit with the pandemic and everything, but oh my gosh, like everybody, once things really open up here, we got locked down again just in the last month or so. But recently things are opening up and people are just dying to exercise again. Like I was thrilled when my studio opened back up because like I feel so stiff because I haven't exercised. Oh my God, Sylvia, I have a black belt. It goes with my black and silver outfit. I loved your black belt too. Oh my gosh, you're hilarious. Oh, thank you. But anyhow, I hope, do you guys have any more questions? Friends, if you don't have any more questions, if you have more questions, drop it in the regular comments on this post. Otherwise, book a call with me. It's a free consultation anyway. And just my style is that I get people headed in the right direction for their particular thing that they're working on or their type of business. So I love talking to people. That's one of the reasons why I still do retail for my own accessories business, but I mean, the HR side of me has never wanted to stop helping people with their work and education. Even when I was in university, I worked in the career center, just helping people with like choose which occupation to go into after their degree. So it's my joy and it's a pleasure and an honor if I can help you. So, and if that's not your jam right now, then just log in regularly and stay in touch for the live feeds, and feel free to join my membership too, because if you'd love to support the channel that way too, it would be a great honor for you to be one of my members too. So friends, I'll probably end the live now, but yeah, if you think you have any questions, come back to this feed and drop the question in the comment section, and I'll be sure to get back to you personally. Okay. Otherwise, feel free to book a call or join, oh, Melanie, thank you, sweetie. Oh, you know that you've got me anytime you want. So that's no problem. Oh, my pleasure, Sylvia. Thank you so much for logging in. Bye, Genesis. I hope you're doing great, ladies. So have a lovely evening and have a wonderful weekend. And if I don't see you before Valentine's Day, love to you all and have a great, happy, healthy handmaking life. Bye, friends.